Out of the many Sonic the Hedgehog fan games, one has always stood out from the rest, almost always spoken about in a positive light, famed for being one of the first created, and often used in an argument on how classic Sonic can work in 3D. Sonic Robo Blast 2 has, and always likely will be, one of the most lauded fan games by the community. So today, I want to share my thoughts and opinions on Sonic Robo Blast 2 before giving it a final ranking. Please be aware there will be some spoilers for the entire game ahead. Enjoy. One of Sonic Robo Blast 2's best features is its gameplay. Featuring a brilliant, if difficult way to traverse every level, the momentum and flow the game has makes for a game that's hard to learn and even harder to master. Being a momentum platformer, you're armed with a jump, and like most Sonic games, some other ability to traverse the level in a unique way. Your goal in every zone is to beat 1 or 2 acts of platforming in speed before facing off against a boss, much like Sonic 1's approach to level layout. I'd say every level is masterly designed to complement every character's moveset and give everyone a viable route to the end of the level. The zones start off very easy, with a focus on speed, before becoming slower and more platforming heavy towards the end. However, like most of the Genesis games, this causes the first half of the game to be both far more fun and far more memorable than the second one. This is because every character is very fast and too slippery to feel like they were designed with platforming in mind. It struggles with the same problems almost every Sonic game has. How do you allow a player to travel at the blazing speeds they have come to expect, while also creating a tight platformer that responds well, while not slowing said player to have to come to a screeching halt? While I'd say Sonic Robo Blast 2 has balanced this better than some other Sonic games, I still think that it doesn't feel quite right to be able to complete early levels in under a minute and then have to spend about 7 to 8 minutes per act towards the end. That's not to mention the steep difficulty curve that starts at Castle Eggman, where each zone can take up to 45 minutes to beat during your first time experiencing them. The bosses also, sadly, aren't great. The first 3 are completely mindless, simply requiring you to damage boost through their attacks before jumping into them 8 times. While they do improve in quality in the latter half of the game, they still feel like they can easily be brute forced by damage boosting. While this may all sound like damning criticism, many of these problems can be ironed out with repeat playthroughs. After changing up your control scheme, I used a controller for the entire game, but I'm told the default keyboard layout is abysmal. Many of the level's secret routes become known to you, allowing you to save minutes off your time in some scenarios. It's also a great game to speedrun, as the high level of mastery top players have is addicting to watch. Overall, I'd say the experience can be tedious your first time through, but the quality of the game dramatically increases if you go back to learn the character's moveset and the ins and outs of the levels. Sonic Robo Blast 2 starts off in a pretty novel way. Sonic actually beats Eggman. After he disappeared for a few months, Eggman learns of the Black Rock, a mysterious asteroid that appears above their planet for a week every 5 years before disappearing again. Eggman decides to use the Black Rock's undefined power. They literally never mention whether this power is its ability to disappear or something else entirely, to take over the world, with his first target being Green Flower Mountain. Sonic wakes up from a nap as Eggman attempts this, but fails to stop him from carving his face onto the mountain. Sonic defeats some bandits, learns about Eggman trying to collect the Chaos Emeralds, and along with Tails and Knuckles, vows to stop him yet again. This may sound interesting, but the problem lies in the fact that this is it. Not only is this all the story you're getting in the game, but all of this information is communicated in a single intro cutscene at the start of the game. This wouldn't be much of a problem. This being a fan game, I'd expect it to lack much of story. But the problem is that not much is ever actually explained. Beyond this already bare bones plot, they never explain why Eggman wants the power of the Black Rock. What is its power? The whole disappearing act? How would that help him? How does he plan to keep it over Earth for more than a week? Is that why he's collecting the Chaos Emeralds? Sonic Team Jr. never actually explains any of this, and it really doesn't feel like the story is completely finished. I hope they further explain what Eggman is actually achieving from doing any of this, rather than building another Death Egg when the game fully comes out. That's not to say there's nothing of worth later in the game. You get a Fang the Sniper boss fight in Arid Canyon, you race Metal Sonic and Black Core, and the final boss is Black Eggman, aka Black Eggman, aka Metal Robotnik from the Sonic OVA. However, these are all more references than actual pieces of the story. In conclusion, I believe this story is so far half-baked and really needs to be extended upon more in the final release of the game. The character choice in the game is actually better than any official Sega Sonic product I've seen in both the classic and modern era. Obviously, you have the main trio of Sonic, Tails and Knuckles, as well as Sonic and Tails together, but you also have the less common characters like Metal Sonic and Fang the Sniper. Every character has a deceptively simple control scheme, one jump button, one spin button, and some form of ability linked to double jumping. This sounds simple and restrictive, but there's plenty every character can do to get through levels quickly by combining their abilities together. Every character can be basically put into 3 difficulty levels. Tails, Knuckles and Metal Sonic are easy to use and make the game a cakewalk. Sonic plus Sonic and Tails is a more moderate difficulty due to a less flexible moveset, and Amy, Rose and Fang act as a self-imposed hard mode, lacking the damaging jump of other characters which makes them permanently vulnerable. This allows the game to cater to a wide variety of fans, because if you're struggling with one character, you can try to play as an easier one, or if you want a challenge, you can play as someone harder. The abilities and movesets are extremely varied, allowing for a mixture of routes through levels, as well as some secrets only certain characters can access. It perhaps is a shame that Eggman isn't officially playable, but I'd say the roster is the most praised area of the game due to how well each character moves and flows through levels if you have the skill to master them. As you have almost certainly noticed, Sonic Robo Blast 2 has a very unique art style for a Sonic game, due to it being built off of the Doom engine. Personally, I've always liked the original Doom's mix of 2D characters and enemy sprite with a more 3D and polygonal levels, and I really do think this aesthetic works to Sonic Robo Blast 2's advantage, considering it is marketing itself as a Lost Saturn Sonic game. I will say that I've seen people recommend using a models mod to reduce depth perception issues, but I believe this would be taken as a decision for each player to decide upon instead of as a necessary rule. I also think that the actual art direction of each zone is commendable as well, considering each feel unique and has unique bandnicks. Every level looks and sounds distinct to each other, and most bandnicks are well themed for the area, blending a stereotypical design for the theme with Eggman's signature flair. Character sprites are also extremely well done, exuding personality and charm through high detail and the perfect amount of exaggeration. Music is strong throughout the game, with a blend of the classic style music mixed with the more rock-centric music of the adventure games, helping to make this feel like a transition between the two eras. I'd say overall the aesthetics in this game are extremely good and are more than enough to be used in the final version of the game. While the main bulk of the game is more than strong enough to easily be considered one of the best Sonic fan games, Sonic Team Jr. seems to have still felt they had something to prove, as they filled the game with unlockables and extra content. While Sonic, Tails and Knuckles are all unlocked from the beginning, Amy, Rose, Fang the Sniper and Metal Sonic are all unlocked as you progress through the game, giving you a sense of replayability as you can go back to play through the story with new abilities and traversal options. These new characters aren't all, as there are also 3 challenge stages that are unlocked after completing the game that will really push your skills to the limit with tricky platforming, dangerous bandits and a hell of a lot of instant death pits. Being a classic inspired game, each level has multiple trophies throughout, which, once the level is finished, will allow you to play through Knights inspired special stages to unlock the Chaos Emeralds, collect all 7 and an apparent secret 8th to unlock super forms for many of the characters. Finally, there are hundreds of emblems to collect, requiring you to memorize every level's secret with every character to find them all, unlocking yet more secret stages based off earlier builds, plus a Mario inspired level. There's also an online multiplayer, although I barely played it so I consider it unfair for me to judge it. Overall, beating the story mode is barely the tip of the iceberg when it comes to finishing the game, and there's more than enough content here to keep your attention for hours. As much as Sonic Robo Blast 2 is known for its great gameplay, with a lot of care and attention separating it from the crowd, I'd argue it's just as well known for its massive modding community. While I usually wouldn't count mods as part of a game for a reviewing purpose, and I won't let this affect my final score, I think if the creators of a game bring attention to its modding community, then it should at least be mentioned. Being built off of the Doom engine, Sonic Robo Blast 2 is relatively easy to pick up and learn to mod compared to a more custom built engine. Some of the mods built on this framework are so expansive and popular that they now rival the size and popularity of the original game by themselves. Take, for example, Sonic Robo Blast 2 Kart, a kart racer that often gains more attention than the original game does. Featuring 108 courses and dozens of characters and power-ups, SRB2K is now so popular that it has its own sub-area on the official SRB2 website, where it has its own unique modding community with more mods than the original game. There are also popular mods like SRB2 Persona, a mod that creates an online Persona experience using SRB2 characters, as well as Metroid Vanguard, a mod that adds a completely new story and converts the game to a Metroid Prime style shooter. The original SRB2 has mods that add hundreds of new characters, maps and custom game types, and the community has even managed to create its own Switch port, so you can play SRB2 on the go. By this point in the review, or if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll surely have noticed I greatly enjoy Sonic Robo Blast 2. Although the game, like many official Sonic games, can be deeply frustrating the first time through, perseverance and skill makes it an incredibly rewarding game to master. The level of flow and speed each level allows you to gain when you know the optimal route is unrivaled in both the official and fan game communities, and it's clear that the 26 years of development time placed into this game has created an incredibly polished final product that has clearly managed to create a loyal community. While this may sound like the perfect game, it has one significant flaw, and it's how bare bones its story is, just barely stopping it reaching a perfect 10 out of 10. Therefore, I will be giving Sonic Robo Blast 2 a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. Your support on these videos has been incredible. I hope to be able to make videos on subjects like the IDW comic series, and I'd like to be able to finish my Sonic Mania series and give a review. While giving a review usually signifies that you're done with a game, I'm going to continue to make mod showcases, and I'll definitely be playing through 2.3 when that is released. I'd also like to do some live streams for official Sonic events like future Sonic Centrals and Nintendo Directs, so if you'd like to see them, stay tuned. See you soon.